Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our online talk show where we get to have conversations, with people and organizations who are impacting lives and communities positively. My name is Mama K, Kemi Akiode Adebayo, and in today's program I've got my brother, colleague, Nigerian fellow brother and everything, Coach Oscar Maitua. I'm sure I probably didn't pronounce it well, but you will teach me how to pronounce it eventually. Who is the CEO of Billion Health Consulting and is the National Deputy President of the Nigerian Citizen Association of South Africa, NICASA for short, and is based in Cape Town, South Africa. Welcome to Impact Africa, Coach Oscar.
Thank you so much for having me. I do appreciate the opportunity
It's
to
a pleasure.
be on your platform.
It's a pleasure. Normally we meet at functions and various events. So for me, this is like a very, very unique opportunity to find more about you and find out what you're doing. So tell us about yourself. Who is Coach Oscar? Where are you from? Anything you want to share with us?
I am Coach Oscar, like they call me. The name Coach Oscar didn't really come by my making.
Okay.
It was more of my coach, JT Fox, world #1 world coach. He was in Cape Town sometime on his world conference tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then somehow he brought me up on his platform in front of 1,500 people. And
Wow.
so talked to the people. So when I finished speaking, and he was like, "What's that your name again?" Just like your accent. "What's that your name again?" I said, "Oscar Maitua." He said, "Who will remember Maitua? Just too hard. How about you go with Coach Oscar?" And the whole audience just got erupted and said,
Coach Oscar.
Yes. So
you're branded in that
15 minutes I became branded and just become a mini celebrity, and that's how the whole journey started. But who am I? I'm Coach Oscar. I'm an author. I've written actually 3 books. My first book is Who Am I? And the second one is Thriving in the Marketplace. The third one is 7 Secrets to Success Blueprints. I am an entrepreneur. I also more or less like call myself a serial entrepreneur. We try to do different things here and there, but what more people really understand me or know me for is the coaching part of it and the training part. I have been very privileged to have traveled to over 10 countries to speak. My background is actually in the finance. I work for about 2 banks back home in Nigeria. And then once the job was gone, sat back, and then I asked myself, what am I going to do with my life? And that's how the whole journey started. Probably I talk about my family. I am a husband.
How did you, before you became an husband, so where in Nigeria are you from?
I'm actually from Akwa Ibom.
Akwa Ibom.
Oron, precisely.
Okay,
And
which part of Nigeria? For those who don't know.
Akwa Ibom is in the south of Nigeria. So we are the ones who lay that golden egg Nigeria is known for, but we're not
recognizing it. So Oron precisely?
Oron precisely, and mine.
Language? What language?
We speak Oron.
Oron. Oh, okay.
O-R-N. So I think besides the oil, we're known for Oronic crayfish. I think. So that's been a nutshell.
Okay. So before you became an husband, I know you said you worked in the bank.
Yes.
2 banks back in Nigeria.
Yeah.
What brought you to South Africa?
Actually,
When did you come?
What happened is I came, I think 2013. What happened was this, there was this old classmate of mine that I schooled in. I attended actually over 5 different primary and secondary school because
Why?
I am the last born with twins. The last one of 8. The family. Yes. I have a twin sister called Ellen. She's so beautiful.
Okay.
Maybe check her out.
You're still learning all this now. So you're twins. Were you the first or?
I was actually there.
My mom came out first.
My mom had 2 sets of twins. Our first elder sisters, there are 2 girls, and then we were the last born, and a boy and a girl. So we capped it all. But in all, we are 9 in the family. And
that's a big family.
yeah, well, like my father was aiming to build maybe a national football team.
Probably.
Because 9 plus 2, they already
Yes.
So,
and you know, the odds of having 2 sets of twins. So
Yes.
the last one and
the middle
one.
Then we have some other grown up boys there.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
what was the other?
Don't mind me, I took you away from it. I was going to say, how did you find yourself?
Okay,
in
so what
South
happened is,
Africa?
if you consider the average Nigerian family, and like you just pointed out, 9 family for 1 father, that was a lot. So I left home while I was still very early, at age about 5 years old, and that was because my dad couldn't really cope up with all of the, you know, what it is to upbringing of all this 8 kids. So my elder brother actually dropped out. He finished his secondary, he dropped out of the varsity, joined the police, and then he was doing well, and then coming home to always assist the other siblings. Now, one of the time he came home, Atlanta was about 5 years or about turning 5. I was crying, I want to go with big brother, I want to go with him. He wasn't actually coming for me, he came for the one that was much older than me. But they said I was crying and I wouldn't let it go, bro, I must go with you, I must go. So at some point it was like, but you can't stay alone. He's an officer, he's not always at home, he wasn't married at that point in time. Who would take care of me? I said, no, I can't cope. So that was how I left home. That early year, and I was with him, been to a different part of Nigeria where he was serving. So you can now see why I was going to different schools, because I think almost every year he got transferred, every year. So now, at my secondary school, while I was, I think, in senior secondary 1, he got transferred again to another city, and I was like, brother, I'm just tired of these mini schools you know. Then he now said, can you stay? I said, yes. So what he did was, I am a product of a community that it wasn't really like family alone that raised me.
Right.
I was a product of people around that kind of helped to nurture, because before he then leaves, he paid for like rental and then for years, and then he approached the different families that were there to say, you know what, I'm an officer, you already know, my younger brother is still behind, he doesn't want to go, please help take him like one of yours. And that was how this family adopted me. They always making sure I eat and all of that. Now back to how I got to South Africa. There was a friend of mine, we all graduated together. I think you know he was also in Cape Town. Now we lost track. Back then there was no phone, or phone were for the rich, you know. Now we lost track, and then we parted ways after our high school. I went to varsity, and then I connected again with my elder brother. And then for 15 years we couldn't connect it. So I finished from varsity, got a job in the bank, and Facebook was just coming up newly then, signed up, and then I just launched my second book. And then somehow he found me on Facebook and like, you look like someone I attended school with, and you didn't see him inbox me. And then we connected, I was like, yes, what are you doing now? I said, I'm in the bank. He's like, you're a big boy. How about you come down to South Africa? I'm here. Would you want to come maybe speak at our conference? I said, sure, I can book my holiday and come in. And that was how I flew in here.
Wow, interesting.
And
you love South Africa.
You know what I was
There's something about South Africa.
Cape Town, Table Mountain, the city was just beautiful. And that was how I said goodbye to the job. Not just that I decided to, somehow I got promises, because I came with copies of my book. After the conferences, people were like, no, we're going to help you. You will excel, you will do this, we will fix you. And I'm like, oh, really? This place looks beautiful. Let me start a new career path here. That was how I said goodbye back home. And then, but along the line, 6 months down the line, I was still at home. The promises, the offer is not forthcoming. 1 year.
The reality.
So reality stared at me, and at that point, you can't go back. Job wasn't waiting for you, and if you go back, you also try to go struggle again. So I said, how about I see if I can fit in here? What can I make out
a
of
life for
my life?
myself.
That was how my entrepreneurial journey all began.
So let's go back to your family man. So you're happily married to your
Yes.
beautiful wife.
Yes.
I can see, what's her name?
Her name is Aleta.
Aleta, and she's from?
She's a South African,
Okay.
and she's from a town called Grahamstown. I was there during the Christmas period, And almost every festive, we're always going back to their home.
Grahamstown, there's a lovely place.
Yes,
I
that's
think
where
they changed the name of the town.
they changed the name, not
I can't even pronounce it.
Yeah, but it is University of, I think, Forte. It's very close to our place. When we went there, yeah, it was one of those places we visited during our holidays.
And you've got 3 beautiful children.
Yes, I've got 3 amazing daughters, and Eden, Jordan, Thea. These are the
beautiful names as well. Wow.
I think just to represent. But anyway, for the names is just another talk of its own, how those names came. They all have their own local name. One is Imabong, there's Imabong means
I love Imabong.
Imabong,
I'm familiar with Imabong.
And then the other one is Rosemary, is actually my mom's.
Imabong means
God's gift. And then Thea is Idarabas, that's the joy of God.
I see.
So
and the third one?
Rosemary, that one take after my mom.
Okay.
And then Jordan is Imabong, and then we have the other one that is Idara Abasi, that's the joy of God.
So, do they have local South African names as well?
I think maybe their grandmom gave them her own, but for me, I just said, let's leave it to this, not to
to confuse them. Okay. CEO Billion Consulting. What do you do with that company? And how has the journey been for you as an entrepreneur? I know you're an author, like you said, and a coach and into training. So what, as a serial entrepreneur, like you said earlier, what is that? What do you do?
The name Billion House Consulting is more or less like a household name that makes up 3 companies in one.
Okay.
And Billion House is like the holding name. But under Billion House, we have our coaching and consulting, where we just purely do training and consulting. And then we also do have the travels and immigration, where we assist with outbound and inbound visas. So whether local visa or the one you want to get to travel overseas. And then we also do have a software development company, the OS software development. So that one is purely on developing of software and apps. That's what we're busy with. And actually is in partnership with an Indian company.
Okay.
We actually put in stuff together. So they do more of the design, and then we do more of we do client services and retention management. So when we get the order, the request, and we have, so more or less we don't kind of showcase them. They are like our back office stuff. But what you get to interface or relate with is the OS or Billion House Consulting. So that's in a nutshell what Billion House do kind of really entails.
I love the name. Why Billion? Just out of interest.
You know, sometimes you are a Christian, I know you very well.
Yes.
I'll call you a pastor. You know, sometimes from what we get taught, you speak like into your future, where you look forward to being. And I kind of, before the name came up, I've got some friends, or I think it was online, then you get to see people say Billion Gang, Billion this, Millionaire Gang, and the next phase was Billionaire Gang. So I just said, million, we're almost touching it. How about we start looking out for the one we look forward to, and it kind of inspire. So for me, it's just a pointer to the future of what is possible that the future has for us.
Interesting. So as an entrepreneur or a serial entrepreneur here in Cape Town, South Africa as a whole, have you had any form of discrimination, as an expatriate in somebody, or, you haven't? And what are some of the challenges or problems that you've had to face?
I have had those kind of discrimination, bullying in a way.
Right.
I remember particularly when I talked about how I started, I came in, and then all the promises vanished, and then you were faced with reality of what you need to do. And then I sat back and I was asking myself, I knew I have that financial background as being trained as an accountant in the bank with 10 years experience. So I said I could help entrepreneurs. And then thought again that I've written books, people say you could speak, who am I to say you're not good? And then I just accepted. So I identified like 5 key skills that I felt I was good at. And then the next thing I was asking myself is, how do I do business with these 4 or 5 skills that I've identified? Now, having identified this, I started asking myself again, who are the people in this industry? Who are the guys consulting? Who are the people speaking, the coaches? How do they make money? So I decided to go learn the business of speaking, the business of coaching, the business of consulting. So it's not just about I'm passionate or I like to do this, but also learning the business of it.
So find yourself with it.
Now, I remember in one of my speaking events, I don't want to mention her name because we're now friends. He said, let me not even call the color. But someone said to me, yeah, but you don't stand a chance in Cape Town. Maybe you should think of Joburg or maybe Durban. Here you're not going to really make it. So for me, it was like one of my hard hits challenge. But then I don't know, it wasn't intentional. It's only after about 3 or 4 years later, she was even the one who reached out to me to say, do you know there was a time I said this to you and you said to me, watch me. So it was only when she said, I said, watch me, that was when I like, oh, did I really say that? Because it wasn't something that I planned to like say to you. I couldn't, or I didn't know what I could have said at that point in time. Yes, we've put in proposal for training in some companies and some, you know, those factors plays out. But I think how I managed to deal with such, I see myself more of a global brand. I have more of global, my coaching platform, I've got people from over 23 different countries that have come on my coaching program. So I am instead thinking that maybe the people within the local or the market in South Africa is somehow saturated. So right from the beginning, I rather cease to think about how do I take a chunk, a piece from here. No, I always look international. And that's how it has helped me to have been to over 10 countries like I mentioned. And some of them, just social media, people see you, they want to invite you to come speak, come train. That's how it's all.
And the 10 countries, are they mainly in Africa?
Yeah, mainly in Africa. Mainly in Africa, yes. Mainly in Africa. I've been to Tanzania, Namibia, Botswana, Kenya, Ghana, Cameroon. These are how those stuff just.
But you still prefer South Africa?
Yes, I think it's a game plan, it's a strategy. One of the reasons I felt it was a strategy and it's really working is traveling to some of those other African countries, I see the way they perceive us coming from South Africa, and it's to them more of like an edge ahead of where we were. I remember this guy I met in, he was inviting me to Uganda, and we met in Tanzania, and he was like, I said, how about you come to South Africa? He was like, yo, you guys are way ahead, so you are the Europe of Africa. So I think that's where they connect. But I also did get invites to Spain, to Italy, and Canada. This invite actually was for last year, but the COVID kind of cancelled out those.
Let's go now to COVID, since you kind of mentioned it. How has COVID impacted your work? Maybe a little bit as well in terms of the Nigerian community, you know, that you're aware of, because you're the national deputy, but we'll speak about that separate. So how has COVID impacted your work?
It has impacted my work because at least those 3 events that got cancelled and 2 got to move it virtual, as a speaker and even as a coach, sometimes we end in, like I was saying, I don't really bother about getting gigs from within. I instead pitch myself on an international platform. So it's usually when we get those trips overseas, you don't earn in the local currency, you get paid in dollars or in those higher currencies. So now with COVID that you can travel, it was just one of those bad things that happened. And but anyway, we find a way around it how to survive, because the initial part, it was really hard on us. I knew in April, May, I I sat back, it all happened like the president said, we're going on a 1 month holiday. We thought it was just a holiday. We never knew it's just going to travel that far. So I knew in May, I sat back, I was bored. I read nearly all books. You know those period books you couldn't read before? You read.
All the things you couldn't do. You thought, now I'm going on holiday.
I was tired. I just went online on my social media. I posted something. I said, who is as bored as I am?
Right.
And then you just get different people say, I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm bored. And then it was like, how about we create a mastermind where we can hold ourselves accountable to be able to write or do one thing we've always wanted to do. That was how I started the private mastermind. I think that was how I migrated from doing the physical where you have to come around, because then I was also doing physical events all around South Africa. Right. But now we took it virtual. And then people now plug in from different countries, and that was how we scaled.
Reinvented yourself.
Reinvented, I like that word. Reinvented, and it really did pay off. To be very honest, between May and the end of last year, I think I made more money than what I made in traveling overseas. And this was just at the comfort of your house or sometimes in the office.
And it's all about thinking outside the box.
Outside the box.
And, thinking outside the box.
Great.
Okay. There about some of the negative, the successes, for you, and very well done for all what you've done so far. What are some of the pros and cons, being an entrepreneur? Because a lot of people feel, as an entrepreneur, and talk less of being a serial one, let's even start with an entrepreneur. It's just, yes, I'm working for my own, no boss to tell me what to do, blah, blah. So what are some of the pros, just very quickly, and some of the negative that you feel?
I think I would say the space of the entrepreneur is where I say somehow it's a lonely path, and besides that, it's a lonely path. But these days, with what we do like coaching and consulting, mentorship, you can really find a shoulder to fall on. But that is the space where if you are not disciplined, you can go derail off the track. That's because it's not just enough for you to say you're an entrepreneur, and I don't even want to break that down. We now have solopreneurs, people who probably lost their job, maybe started their own, now employ themselves. Yeah, maybe in a way you're still an entrepreneur, but what I would say is you need some element of discipline, you need an element of accountability, and you need to stay focused. And at some point you really need to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. The reason being that if you're not disciplined around these key fundamentals, it's going to affect you. And I also do tell people, okay, fine, maybe you can make money. The entrepreneurial space is where you can make money you never expected you would make, but again, you don't make money all the time. So that is where you need that discipline again and accountability. Who are you accountable to? Who holds you? Who do you take advice from? Because these will all determine whether you grow or you start retrogressing. And for me, I will always say there is no place you get to and then you say, I have reached, and then I've stayed there. You don't stay steady. It's either you keep growing or you start dying. It's as simple as that.
What part of your job do you enjoy most?
I love coaching. I love coaching, the reason being that I really does love helping people. Now, as an entrepreneur, I've had people I've come to understand that this struggle is the same. It doesn't matter the color, it doesn't matter the nationality, it doesn't matter where you base. People struggle.
And your faith,
even the faith.
Or no faith.
Now, you need to understand at what point, what is it you're doing that you feel can really take you that far. You need guidance on that. And again, it's not everything. I always say to upcoming entrepreneurs, passion don't pay the bills.
No.
So it's not an illusion that I'm passionate. No, you're passionate. Another thing is go learn the business around your passion. And I'm sure by the time you learn the business around your passion, this is where you get to know, oh, so I don't just need to eat all of my profit once. Oh, maybe I have to delay gratification. I think need to save for the rainy day. So these are some of the things that I feel entrepreneurs need to keep themselves abreast with for them to succeed.
Wow, thanks for quickly summarizing it. And I know there's more there, but I want to keep going. What future, though, do you see for our youth and our women in Africa?
Yeah, you see,
Or what kind of future would you like to see? Because I know we have problems. I don't want to focus on the problems we have, but what are the solutions? What would you think what we can do to address some of this?
I love that what you just said. Let's not stay about the problems. The problems will always stay. Now, it's for us to start having a future that we want. Now, you and I need to take responsibility, and that's how we move forward. Africa is the future. By the grace of God, when you maybe have the platform to engage with people on other planets or other countries, you see that Africa is just a big deal right now. But you see, Africa, majority, especially the youth, we still held back by our excuses. And I like the words of Visitor Bukwayo. Our excuses are always valid. But it's not just good enough to say, yes, we've been deprived. Yes, our leaders are corrupt. Yes, they are all valid. But the next thing is, what do you do to change that status quo? What do you do to change the equation? You don't like it, it's valid, great. Then keep it. Do something else to change it. And you know, we have a youth population in Africa, and that's why you see I'm so passionate about entrepreneurs. Now, the next 20 years to come, some of the leaders who are here today would be the presidents, would be the leaders, ministers. 20, 30 years to come, they will all be gone. The question is, how are the young people preparing themselves for that future? So that's why for me, I have completely sealed up my ears and don't want to talk about what the current leaders are doing because it's not leading us anywhere. Instead, I try to see how we can change the conversation around, what are you doing, brother? I challenge my friend and say, you know what, the next 20 years, the next 30 years is going to be me and you to run our affairs.
Yeah.
How prepared are you for that future? And that's how I get them challenged. There's so much for us, and I also want to encourage women. I'm a woman, belongs to an organization called He for She, and I'm actually an ambassador for women empowerment. And
well done. That's part of why we're doing always.
Now, I tell women, it's no longer what a man can do. We've gone past what a man can do. Carve a niche and say women are even doing much more, that men can compete. We're not even competing, we gifted differently. Yeah, so how about we carve our niche, you carve your niche, or we meet at the top, we make an impact in changing our world.
Wow. Right, let me now, just very quickly, we can go on, you talk, I talk, but there's a lot, in there, and that's part of what you're doing and who you are, and this is what this conversation is about. As the national president of NICASA, the Nigerian Citizen Association, Cape South Africa, what does the organization do? And what has been some of your achievement, so far?
I think the NICASA project or idea, NICASA first of all is the National Association of Nigerian Citizen Association in South Africa. Now actually what's led to that is our organization is more of a welfare.
Right.
Now we're not peer pressure, we're not any agenda or whatever against government or against the host community. For us it's more about welfare. It's about how we also look after ourselves. Government is trying, but again, government can't do everything for us. There are some issues we handle within ourselves based on how the peculiarity we can resolve them within our own different structures. We have national presence in all the 9 provinces in South Africa. So there are issues we can handle on our own. In fact, there's currently one we're handling at our provincial level. But when it gets higher or bigger than us, we take it to the national level. I'm at the national level also. But if it gets way bigger than us, like the one I just mentioned, it's bigger than us at this point. It has to do with the government of the true country, and we briefing our ambassador about the issue just to see. So this is how we look after one another, and we try to also educate our people. Like our ambassador said to us recently, we are the future of the country. We are the people to give ourselves, our country, the name that we want it to be. So when you say, are you bad? Do you like to associate with that? We say no. Our motto is simple. We want to change narratives. Change narrative is to engage our people, our community, and also projecting some of the good ones among us to say, guys, we're not just all what they say we are, but here are these ones you haven't seen or you haven't met. And also using that opportunity to tell ourselves the truth. You know, there's things we can't say everywhere, but there's something me and you can tell ourselves. And then that's how we have been trying to help to change. During the COVID, there were presence in all the provinces. Each chapter we were organizing palliatives, trying to reach out, trying to assist, and this is how we've been trying. It's not conclusive, it's something we're working on, and we get it better by the day.
Awesome. Well done. Thank you, Edward. I'm afraid that's all we got time for.
Thank you so much.
So, in closing, any kind of final thoughts, tips, advice that you want to share with our viewers?
All right. I think, first I want to say thank you so much for the opportunity for me to share and come on your platform. I really appreciate that. The one thing I would like to say, or maybe one or two, is that I always tell people, it doesn't matter what you do. I love people who don't believe in the quick fix, people who don't just say, I want it now. Every good thing, success, whatever, takes time. So, not just that I tell you, go or venture into entrepreneurship, start something that you will be proud of. I also do say, be patient with yourself. Being patient with yourself is, you don't need to use A to judge B. You don't need to compare yourself. This is where greed, and this is where people venture into the wrong stuff. You don't need that. You just need to stay on track on what you're good at, and then get a mentor, get a coach, get someone who holds you accountable and who you are accountable to, and then the sky, I can only say, will be the limit, because you can really go past that. Otherwise, thank you so much, Bold Africa. I really appreciate this opportunity again. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Oscar. Well, before I speak to the audience, but I want to just say thank you and well done. I know it's not easy, you know, the path, you know, you're taking in a place that is not home, you know, which is far from home, but you've made home.
No, you made home. It's a choice.
Your family, exactly.
It's a choice. So,
and your daughters, you know, are born here, born and bred, and I'm hoping you will take them to
definitely.
Nigeria.
And that was why they didn't call. We're supposed to go see Grandpa.
Oh, there you go. So please do take them there. So well done, you know, for the lives you're impacting through your work, through your community work that you do in the CASA, through Billion Consulting, through the books you've written. I would want to see those, you know, books for us to see. And
I think I do have copies in the Central Library.
Okay, you do?
Yeah, that's the free one I give.
Wow.
Otherwise it's sold at my home.
Really? Well, you need to make new copies.
All right.
So, because you impact lives as well through that. You said the names of the books again? Where I wrote one down, Who Am I?
Yes, Who Am I was my first book.
Who Am I?
Second one is Thriving in the Marketplace.
Okay.
The third one is, though that one is an e-book, you can get it on my website, www.oscarmade2.co.za. There's 7 steps to success blueprint.
7 steps
to success blueprint.
Well, there you go, guys. That's an e-book.
Yes, that's an e-book.
Okay. Well, we're going to share your contact details, you know, at the end, anyway, so that people can reach, you know, if they want. So, do you take people on board if they want to be? Are you a life coach?
Yeah, you see, what we do, life coach is more or less like the starter.
Okay.
Starter. No, you see, when you're starting, you get at the point where I am. I don't longer just do the live one-on-one stuff,
Right.
bring people into a group format, and then we have different programs we run. We have the Mastermind Your Way to Success, the Result and Accountability Coaching Program.
Okay.
So there you have people from different countries or different
Who like
people
Mike
like
as
you.
well, that
Yes.
you can.
And then
Okay.
I highly recommend for entrepreneurs. You know why? Now it's where, remember we started by entrepreneurs saying it's a lonely path.
Yes.
That sometimes they take decision on your own. But if you come into this mastermind group, you've got people from similar like-minded people like you. Now you even throw up your issues there. Guys, I'm thinking about this. I've been thinking about branding. How do I? I've been thinking about new launch. How do I? And you have so
together, you know.
indirectly, I said to solopreneurs that this is where you have a team of directors. You're not paying them, but they literally, because they have your back and you have their back, they literally offers you free advice
Exactly.
in terms of how you can launch.
That's clever. That's clever. And how affordable are you? Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm one of those women.
No, what's that one
How
say?
affordable?
It
I know
is-
you can't be cheap, but
It's-
at the same time, how affordable are you?
Usually our mastermind start, the minimum is 299 USD.
Right.
So that's like the entry, and once you get in, you like the stuff like the one we just rounded up. We got people who they finish the program and then they're like, Coach, if you leave us, we'll go back to our old self. We just want someone to hold us
That is,
accountable.
yeah.
And then we said, okay, fine, you come on a retainership program. So it's just
So you have a retainership program to
where
support
we work with you on a 6 month, that's the
Awesome.
minimum, 6 months, 12 months. The ultimate goal is to help you get results. So if you believe in yourself, you believe you really want what you feel you want or deserve, then ask us just to work with you, support you, give you the necessary help that you need to get that goal done.
Me and you can keep on going. But it was good I brought that up because it's useful for people who might want to know. But we will share your contact details in the program. So, well, guys, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. And you've heard it all from Coach Oscar. His journey, his success story, his challenges, his family, the tips he's given, his work in the community, in the Nigerian community. And you know, some of the tips you heard them. Don't believe in quick fix. Be patient with yourself. Get a mentor, get a coach. And I think the one I love, and which is the title for this program, is Success Takes Time, according to Coach. So success takes time. And yes, look out for his books. It's in the library, online, and so on. Until next time, this is Mama K signing off. And just remember, God is love. Stay blessed, stay safe, and love you guys.